I'm sorry, Jenna, I can't marry you. You're not wife material enough, and my mom won't agree to you being my wife.
What? How can you say that? Daniel, after 10 years, 10 years of me giving myself to you, 10 years of me standing by you, you'll regret this.
10 years. That's how long she waited. 10 years of her life. Her youth, her patience, her loyalty, all given to one man. She cooked his meals. She held him when he cried. She believed in him when nobody else did. And how did he repay her? On a random Tuesday night, over expensive wine at a fancy restaurant, he looked her in the eye and said, "You're sweet, but you're not wife material." She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just smiled, a cold, beautiful smile, and walked out. And then she did something that made his entire world collapse. She married his billionaire uncle. Now, you're probably wondering how he got here. How a woman who was told she wasn't good enough ended up becoming the most powerful woman in her ex's family. How a simple breakup turned into the most satisfying revenge story I've ever heard. Let me start from the beginning. But before I continue, where are you watching from tonight? Drop your city or country in the comments. I love seeing where these stories travel. New York, London, Seoul, Lagos, Sao Paulo. Let me know. I'll shout out the wildest location at the end. Alright, let's get into it. It was a Tuesday night. Jenna had dressed up, her favorite cream silk blouse, the pearl earrings Daniel had given her for their 5th anniversary. She thought they were celebrating. They'd been together for 10 years. She thought tonight might finally be the night he asked the question. Instead, Daniel ordered 2 glasses of expensive wine, took a long sip, and said, "Jenna, we need to talk." Those 4 words. You know nothing good ever follows those 4 words. She smiled nervously. "Okay, what's going on?" Daniel set down his glass and looked at her with this strange expression, like he was practicing what he was about to say. "I've been thinking a lot about our future," he began. "And I care about you. I really do. You're kind. You're supportive. You're—" He paused, searching for the word. "Sweet. You're really sweet." Jenna felt her stomach drop. She knew where this was going. But she let him continue. "But Jenna, you're not wife material." She blinked. She literally blinked, like she had misheard him. "I'm sorry." He leaned forward, suddenly earnest, like he was doing her a favor. "Look, I need someone who can stand beside me at business dinners and impress the clients. Someone who speaks the right way, dresses the right way, knows the right people. You're beautiful, Jenna, and you're so sweet. But you're not." He gestured vaguely. "You're not the kind of woman you marry. You're the kind you date before you find the real thing." Jenna sat there in complete silence. 10 years. A decade of her life. She had supported him through his terrible first job, his failed startup, his father's death, his mother's manipulation. She had cooked for him, cleaned for him, held him when he cried. And now he was telling her she was a placeholder. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She didn't even raise her voice. She just stared at him, her voice eerily calm. "Daniel, who is she?" His face flickered with guilt. "Just for a second. I don't know what you're—" "Who is she?" He sighed, defeated. "Her name is Yuna. She's from a Chable family. Her father is the CEO of Hanjin Shipping. She's the kind of woman my mother approves of. The kind who can help me move up in the company." Jenna nodded slowly. She reached for her wine glass, took a sip, and set it down perfectly. Then she stood up, grabbed her purse, and looked at him one last time. "You know what, Daniel? You're right. I'm not wife material." She smiled. A cold, beautiful smile. "I'm revenge material." And she walked out of that restaurant without looking back. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. Jenna went home and completely fell apart. She cried for 3 days straight. She called in sick to work. She didn't answer her phone. Her best friend, Hannah, finally broke down her door and found her in a nest of tissues and empty wine bottles. "Okay, that's it," Hannah announced. "You're getting off this couch, you're taking a shower, and we're going to make a plan." Jenna looked up with red, puffy eyes. "What plan, Hannah?" He threw away 10 years. 10 years. And now he's marrying some Chable princess who probably doesn't even know how to boil an egg. Hannah grabbed her shoulders and shook her. Exactly. That's exactly why you need to get your act together. Do you know who Daniel's uncle is? Jenna blinked. His uncle. James Kong. The James Kong. The one who built Kong International from nothing. The one who's worth $2 billion. The one who divorced his gold-digging wife 5 years ago and has been single ever since. Jenna stared at her. What are you suggesting? Hannah grinned, a dangerous, lawyer grin. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying, Daniel broke up with you because you didn't have status. So why not show him what status really looks like? 2 weeks later, Hannah managed to get Jenna an invitation to a high-end charity gala. The kind of event where billionaires mingle and deals are made on napkins. Jenna wore a stunning black gown, simple but elegant. No jewelry except her mother's pearl necklace. She looked like she belonged, even though she felt like a fraud. She was standing alone near the bar, sipping champagne, when a tall man in a perfectly tailored suit approached her. You look like you're contemplating your escape. She turned around, and her heart almost stopped. James Kong, Daniel's uncle, the billionaire. He was older than she'd expected, early 50s, silver-streaked hair, warm, intelligent eyes. But there was something magnetic about him. He didn't have the arrogance of his nephew. He had something better, genuine confidence. She managed to smile. Is it that obvious? He laughed, a warm, genuine laugh. Only to someone who's been at 1,000 of these things. Let me guess. Someone dragged you here, you don't know anyone, and you're trying to figure out the earliest polite time to leave. She blinked. How did you know? Because you're holding your champagne glass like a shield. Amateur move. The real experts hold it like a weapon. She laughed despite herself. And what do you do with your champagne? He smiled and clinked his glass against hers. I use it to start conversations with beautiful women who look like they'd rather be anywhere else. They talked for 2 hours. He asked about her life, her career, her family. He didn't try to impress her with his money or status. He just listened, actually listened. And somewhere between the second glass of champagne and the dessert course, Jenna realized something. She wasn't thinking about Daniel at all. The gala was just the beginning. James called her the next day, then the day after that. Then he asked her to dinner, then coffee, then a walk in the botanical gardens. He was attentive in a way Daniel had never been. He remembered little details, her favorite flower, peonies, her coffee order, oat milk latte with an extra shot, the fact that she got cold easily and always brought a shawl. One night, over dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant, he looked at her across the table and said, Jenna, I've been divorced for 5 years. I told myself I'd never get married again. I built my company, I built my fortune, and I was content being alone. He paused, reaching across the table to take her hand. And then you walked into that gala holding your champagne like a shield, and I realized I'd been wrong about everything. She felt tears prick her eyes. James, you don't have to say anything. I know about my nephew. I know he treated you terribly, and I know he broke your heart. His eyes were soft but fierce. But I'm not him, Jenna. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to use you. I'm going to love you if you let me. She didn't say yes immediately. She needed time. She needed to be sure. But a month later, standing on a balcony overlooking the Seoul skyline, surrounded by fairy lights, James Kong got down on one knee. I know we haven't known each other long, but I know you. I know your kindness. I know your strength. I know your heart. And I know that I want to spend the rest of my life making sure you never feel unworthy again. He opened a small velvet box. Inside was a ring, elegant, understated, perfect. Jenna Park, will you marry me? She thought about Daniel. She thought about the 10 years she wasted. She thought about the words, "You're not wife material." And she smiled. Yes! The news broke 6 weeks later. Billionaire James Kong engaged to mystery woman. Who is she? Daniel was sitting in his office when the notification popped up on his phone. He almost spilled his coffee. He clicked the link, and his blood ran cold. The photo was unmistakable. His uncle, James Kong, standing next to Jenna Park. His Jenna, the woman he had called, not wife material. He stared at the screen, his jaw tight. She can't be serious. He called Jenna immediately. She didn't answer. He called again. Nothing. He was about to leave his office, and drive to her apartment when his assistant knocked on the door. "Sir, your mother is on the line. She says it's urgent." He picked up the phone. His mother's voice was shrill. "Daniel, have you seen the news? Your uncle is marrying that girl. The one you were dating." She. "I know, Mother. This is humiliating. She's doing this to get back at you. You need to do something." Daniel rubbed his temples. "What exactly am I supposed to do? She's marrying a billionaire. She doesn't need me anymore." His mother was silent for a moment. Then she said, venomously, "Then maybe you should have married her when you had the chance." 3 months later, Daniel received an invitation in the mail. It was heavy, cream-colored, with gold embossing. He opened it with shaking hands. "Mr. and Mrs. James Kong request the honor of your presence at the wedding of their daughter." No, wait. That wasn't it. "James Kong and Jenna Park invite you to celebrate their union." He flipped the invitation over. There was a handwritten note on the back. In elegant script it read, "Daniel, I hope you can make it. I wanted you to see what wife material looks like. Jenna." He crumpled the invitation in his fist. She was mocking him. She was actually mocking him. And the worst part, he couldn't even be mad, because she had won. She had won so completely that he didn't even have a response. The wedding was held at a stunning estate overlooking the Han River. It was the kind of wedding that gets featured in magazines. White roses everywhere, chandeliers dripping with crystals, hundreds of guests in designer gowns and tuxedos. And Daniel was sitting in the back row, fuming. He had RSVP'd yes, because his mother had forced him. "Don't make it look like you're bitter," she had hissed. "You need to maintain appearances." So here he was, watching the woman he had discarded walk down the aisle toward his billionaire uncle. Jenna looked breathtaking. Her gown was simple but elegant. Off-white silk. No lace, no fuss. She wore a diamond necklace that probably cost more than Daniel's entire apartment. And she was smiling. Not a fake smile. A genuine, radiant, "I am so happy" smile. She walked past Daniel's row without even glancing at him. When she reached James, he took her hand, his eyes full of adoration. "You look beautiful," he whispered. "You don't look so bad yourself," she whispered back. The officiant began the ceremony. Daniel forced himself to watch. And then came the vows. James spoke first. "Jenna, when I met you, you were a woman who had been told she wasn't enough. And I remember thinking, who could ever look at this woman and see anything less than extraordinary? You are kind, you are strong, you are brilliant. And I don't care how long it took to find you. I'm just grateful I did." Then Jenna spoke. "James, for 10 years, I was with a man who saw me as a placeholder. He told me I was sweet, but not wife material. He told me I was good enough to date, but not good enough to marry. And I believed him for a long time. I thought something was wrong with me." She paused, her voice thick with emotion. "And then I met you. And you showed me that I wasn't the problem. I was just with the wrong person. You saw me, really saw me. And you loved what you saw. I don't know how I got so lucky. But I'm never letting you go." The entire audience was crying. Even the hardened business executives in the front row were dabbing their eyes. Except for Daniel. He just sat there, gripping his armrests, his jaw tight. After the ceremony, the reception was in full swing. Champagne flowed. The band played. Everyone was dancing and laughing. Jenna was standing near the cake table, talking to some of James's business partners, when she felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned around. It was Daniel. He looked different. His suit was still expensive, but his face was flushed. He had been drinking. "Jenna," he said, his voice tight. "Can we talk?" She smiled politely. "Daniel, how lovely of you to come. I wasn't sure you would. We need to talk. Alone." She glanced at James, who was watching from across the room. He nodded slightly. He trusted her. "Fine. 5 minutes." She led Daniel to a quiet corner of the terrace. The moment they were alone, he exploded. "What are you doing? Marrying my uncle? Are you insane? This is revenge, isn't it? You're doing this to get back at me." Jenna laughed. A cold, beautiful laugh. "Oh, Daniel, you always thought everything was about you, didn't you?" He stared at her. "What does that mean?" She stepped closer, her voice low. "I'm not marrying James to get back at you. I'm marrying him because I love him. Because he treats me the way you never did. Because he sees me as an equal, not a convenient girlfriend. She smiled. And honestly, the fact that it makes you miserable is just a bonus. Daniel's face twisted. You're nothing but a gold digger. Everyone knows it. The only reason you're marrying him is for his money. She tilted her head. Is that what you tell yourself? So you can sleep at night? She stepped even closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Let me tell you something, Daniel. James is twice the man you'll ever be. And it's not because he has more money. It's because he has a heart. Something you've never had. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Daniel? When you said I wasn't wife material, you were right. She smiled coldly. I'm not wife material. I'm wife level. And you never deserved me. Daniel walked back into the reception hall like a ghost. Everyone had seen him go outside. Everyone had seen Jenna follow. And now, everyone was staring. He could hear the whispers. Isn't that Jenna's ex? The one who dumped her after 10 years? I heard he said she wasn't good enough to marry. Look at her now. She married a billionaire. He felt his face burn. He wanted to leave, but his mother was across the room, glaring at him with that look. Don't you dare embarrass us. James walked over to Jenna and put his arm around her protectively. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. His presence said it all. The rest of the night was torture for Daniel. He watched as Jenna laughed, danced, and charmed everyone in the room. She was the perfect hostess, the perfect wife, and she didn't spare him a single glance. 6 months later, Jenna and James were on their honeymoon in the Maldives. They had traveled everywhere, Paris, Tokyo, Santorini. But this was their favorite, just the two of them, in a private villa over the crystal clear water. Jenna was sitting on the balcony, watching the sunset, when James came out with 2 glasses of champagne. It's funny, she said, taking the glass. I spent 10 years waiting for Daniel to propose. And now I'm glad he never did. James sat beside her. Why is that? She smiled. Because if he had proposed, I would have said yes. I would have wasted my whole life with a man who didn't see my worth. I would have never met you. James kissed her forehead. You know what I think? What? I think Daniel did you a favor. He was too blind to see what he had. And because of his blindness, you became mine. She laughed. That's a very generous way to look at it. I'm a generous man. She leaned into him, feeling the warmth of the sun and his arms around her. You know what else I think? She said softly. What? I think everyone deserves a second chance at happiness. I just didn't expect mine to come in the form of my ex's billionaire uncle. He laughed. That warm, genuine laugh she had fallen in love with. Well, I didn't expect to fall in love with my nephew's ex-girlfriend. But here we are. She kissed him softly. Here we are. And that's where we leave them. The woman who was told she wasn't good enough. The billionaire uncle who saw her worth. And the ex-boyfriend who will spend the rest of his life watching his uncle's wife become the most powerful woman in their family circle. Now let me ask you something. Do you think Jenna was wrong to marry James? Was it pure revenge, or did she genuinely fall in love with him? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll pin the best one at the top. The one thing I'll say is this. Sometimes the best revenge isn't screaming. It's succeeding. It's living so well that the person who hurt you can't even look at you without feeling small. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another wild tale. And shout out to everyone watching from wherever you are. Drop your city in the comments. Let's see where this story traveled. See you in the next one. Peace.